So what I feel called to talk about today is self-focused. We have a lot of training in our upbringing and society in general that you shouldn't be selfish and just think about yourself and those types of things, right? But when it comes to human energy, although, yeah, we're getting into it. It's coming up the full moon as well, and sometimes some full moons affect my body a lot, and I can feel the emotions of things that are getting released from that experience. And so when it comes to being self-centered, it's actually it's different from being selfish. Being selfish is only thinking about yourself and not thinking about others. But being self-centered is very important, because then you are anchored into the self and you are inside of your own vessel and your own feeler, feeling your own feelings. And when you do that, and then from that place, once you have established a good enough relationship between you, the soul, obviously corrected enough perceptions so that you comprehend things, and that's something that will be continuously correcting perceptions, anchoring deeper, correcting perceptions, anchoring deeper. And some of these things might be challenging. Some of these things to correct might be things that you've been used to doing for a while, and they are requiring change in order to anchor more light. And those can be a little bit challenging. But the most important thing is just to take it step by step. And when it comes to being self-centered, you are focused on you first. You have probably heard, if you have been on an airplane, it's not that many that hasn't nowadays. Like, put on your mask before you put on your own mask before you put someone else's mask on, right? It is the same type of principle, because unless you give to yourself first, you will not really be able to give to someone else. That's when we have distorted views, distorted relationships, karmic relationships, dualistic patterns. That is what many beings are in, because they've been having training that they need to behave in certain ways in order to be liked, in order to fit in. Oh, they won't accept this part of me, all of these things. And so usually what happens if a being believes that, they create then acceptable behaviors on the outside as a front, but then on the inside they might have other things going on. And the beings that are sensitive, they notice this, because it's not about just having a pretty front. It has to be in integrity with the inside. Otherwise, what's the point of it? It's just pretend. It's not about pretending. We're here to do this for real. We're here to land our souls for real. We're here to actually anchor light, and to be able to do that, you have to actually actually live it, you know? There is no pretend in that. And so being self-centered first before you help another, let's say. Help yourself before you help another. And that means that go through the necessary changes before you start wanting to help anyone. Because there are many that pretend that they know a lot because they have a lot of intellectual knowledge. That is not enough if you want to embody light. Whoa. I don't know if you saw them, but there were 3, I think it's vultures. They kind of have the wingspan of an eagle, so I'm getting a little bit confused sometimes. But once you get closer and you can kind of see the head, it reveals it usually. But they're usually they were very, very close here. And so it's important then to take responsibility of your own actions, right? So take responsibility of what you do feel. And if you do have different, that is the literal definition of what the dualistic perspective is. That you have a front and then you have a different inside. And you're living this sort of a double life, right? That is the definition of the dualistic perspective, that you have that. Although it is okay, I mean, it is, I would say I get that it's normal to not share everything with someone you just meet, right? There is a level of filter mechanisms just because of the nature of where we're at in the dualistic perspective, and people have different motivations, that it is smart to have some filtering mechanism before you just share all of you, right? That is smart. It's just smart to do. And me, for example, personally, I have had to learn the hard way, because I trusted what people were saying to me when I was in the dualistic perspective. I trusted what people were saying. And I've had to go through some really hard lessons. And Gaia has been really patient with me. I've been quite stubborn in my own convictions before I broke free and realized the truth. Some really hard lessons. Some other birds. That's one of the things I like about being up here as well. I am on the roof and I really enjoy the birds and the different activities that I can see here. So it's a very very self-centered or selfish way of me to just be on the roof, right? But it is like that. It is for my own selfish reasons that I'm up here instead of down there, for example, or down recording somewhere else, or in nature. And that is because when you're self-centered, you care about you first. Then if I do something that is good for me, it will translate into something that is good for you. Because then if I'm okay, then my body will exude good energy towards my surroundings. But many beings are trained to sacrifice, like the Christian, it's very much a sacrifice. Some of them, not all of them, but some teach sacrifice. And that is not true to the natural flow of energy. Because it is literally very simple. Because the energy flows from our head down to Gaia and up again. That is the system. It just flows naturally. And then what happens from our heart when that builds is that there is a toroidal field going around. That is the natural cycle of our electromagnetic field that is going all around us. And that can be strengthened if you operate it properly. And that is the teaching here. Because there are many that are teaching the techniques of this and that and the other. There's been Merkaba meditations and all kinds of stuff that is very helpful, very useful. And you can get into those states with those things. But it's only going to be temporary if you are not correcting the misconceptions and living this on a day-to-day basis. Then you're going to lose energy. Because there is a particular way to operate these energy frequency devices, our bodies, in a way that will naturally just enhance the light that is in and around them. And that can be enhanced, strengthened, so that you get more energy. And that means more vitality. And that means more Gaia, more communication. That's what that means. It just means that you get more of who you are. And that is how you anchor your light here. It is a very practical thing. And many religions have this very confused because they have been trained from the mental perspective of what to do. How to behave from a mental space, not taking into consideration the body. Right? Just like this dog. You have to take care of the body because the body is like a dog. Very loyal to its master. And who is its master? You are. You are the body's master. But sometimes you don't behave like that. And it's okay to... It is a process with the indoctrination that we have all been in. It is a process to retrain and get back into the natural flow of energy. Many beings are operating as slaves to their own senses. That is what the dualistic perspective will do, because you are operating under someone else's guidance, and you are behaving according to some other rules that are not conducive to your internal vitality. And that is what needs to be corrected if you are to have a really fantastic life. There is a process for that to go through, and it's not something that can just be explained. Yes, it can be explained, and we do explain it, but it needs to be walked. And when you walk it, that's when you get to see the importance of what we're speaking about here. the importance of focusing on you first and on your relationship with your feeler, your body. Many have been trained not to listen. The natural operation of a human is much like a kid. When you were a kid, you were just the way that you were. There is no difference between who you are and the body. It's just the way it is. And then we had the training so that there was sort of a split between what the body is and who we are. There is naturally a split there, but it's not meant to be. It's meant to be completely in sync. And for many, that has been trained out. So the correct thing for them to do is to train it back in. That's what it is. Some shaga tea. Boiled for many hours to get all of the juicy nutrients for the body. Delicious. These are ways to look after the body. You give it things that is nourishing, nutritious. That is one way to look after the body. One aspect of many. Well, not that many, but food, exercise, good sleep, good focus, see correct energy, and relate to others when you have been... Okay, so let's go there. So when you have practiced enough and you are very self-centered, that you are so filled with yourself and you are able to look after yourself well, that will naturally spill over to your relationships. And that's when you are truly of service to someone else. Many beings want to be helpful, and it's a very wonderful quality. But some beings are helpful before they actually know truly how to be of help, just from the mind. Oh, I've heard about this thing, maybe this will help for you, without actually feeling the individual and letting that person express and truly be felt. Those things are what another being needs. And only when you've done that to yourself can you do it with someone else. Only when you have been there for your own feeler, your own body, and taken it through some of these challenging emotions, can you actually be there for someone else, knowing how to go through it. It's a very beautiful process, but it can feel challenging sometimes with certain things that can come up and that is needed to go through. Every body is different. Every feeler has a different DNA from the lineage, ancestral. So everyone is dealing with different things, but at the same time, we are sort of from a more holistic level, we are dealing with exactly the same thing. Feelings of worthiness, feeling good enough, feeling strong, vital, be able to speak our truth. Things like that is very universal. But then the micro nuances can be different. Very good. What? It's a spider, like a tiny, tiny spider. so important with this connection with the body to make sure that that is looked after, that you have that intact constantly. That is the most important first step to sort of conquer on this path to birth who you really are. Because it is a sort of rebirth. It is a sort of second coming of you as a, they say, Christed being. But it is just your soul. Because your soul is so holy. It is pure. And that is what we are training you to embody. So that you are expressing who you are through these bodies in harmony with the body. So if you like these videos, sometimes we go for a bit longer in the portal community. In order to get access to the portal community, all you have to do is sign up to the 28-day consciousness shift, Me Channeling Jesus, where he takes us through some lessons every day and a video every day for 28 days. Go through that, commit to that, and at the end of it, you will be invited to join the community. That's what we wanted to share for now, and I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy. I hope you're well. I love you so much. Thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you again in the next one. Ciao.